Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, August 1, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Kind of a dilemma for many of us is that we have an infinite reflection showing up in our lives, and it manifests in our relationship with others. So the more love, compassion, acceptance we have for ourselves, the easier it is to have compassion, love, and acceptance for others. Or it's always that one thing which we absolutely dislike and cannot stand about the other, which is reflecting some part inside ourselves that we don't want, we don't care to own or accept. It's like if I'm upset with my neighbor for being too dominating, controlling, and aggressive, instead of having compassion with him or her, then when I take a closer look inside myself, I'll see how I am not okay with those parts of myself that feel too demanding, controlling, or aggressive. It's all a deep yet transparent mirror. So it's like when you look at other people, and we're not talking about judging in the ego mind, we're talking about heart-mindedness. And we do. I think we all watch each other at times. And you look at them from the standpoint of they're a reflection of parts of you, different parts. You pick up on it. Reminds you of you. That reminds me of me. Or the things that you don't like also remind you of the parts about yourself that you don't like. All of us have this. We all have controlling factors because we're ego mind mastered. So we have controlling factors. We like to control things. We get insecure if we aren't in control. And we get nervous and worried and stressed if we aren't in control and we don't have our hand on the pedal or the foot on the pedal and the hand on the steering wheel. Now, it's when we get to a comprehension with ourselves that we say, I don't really need to be in control of anything. The universe has got this hook, line, and sinker. I don't really need to be in control. That's different because then you're starting to gravitate and comprehend the fact that it's already done. It's already taken care of. But we have that infiltration of what? The doubt, the faith, the confidence isn't up to speed with most of us, and this stuff comes in. So it's like what's within us is an extension of our outer universe. The outer world is an extension of our inner universe. So it's vice versa. This means that this life extends into infinity in every direction and dimension. Our inner and outer universes are never separate. Even though our physical body appears to be a completely isolated entity, it isn't. We live in one sacred ocean of energy. That's why when we say you're the universe, universe is you, that's fact. Okay? You're Earth, Earth is you. That's fact. You look at the mountain range is you. You're the mountains are you. We're this big golden ocean of energy. The universe is everything. We're part of everything. Everything's part of us. And that's a fact. That's not made up. We live in one sacred golden ocean of energy, and there simply is just one universe that extends for infinity into the other realms in all directions and interdimensions. We contain the wet and salty qualities of this entire golden ocean, and yet are just a single drop in it. So the oceanic waves are always moving us and flowing through us as us. It's a great quote from Ramana Maharishi. He who thinks he is the doer is also the sufferer. Now, there are people, there's a lot of people on the planet, which is an essential problem. And they're having these issues with life, and it's that they're not reaching deep enough inside themselves to reconnect with their actual living, breathing, infinite spiritual essence. So it's kind of like a lot of people just surface touch it. Yeah, they'll step in there, and then they go, it's a waste of time. Ego mind wins. Now, our spiritual nature is a real thing. It is our most basic reality. It's what keeps our heart beating, our breathing. Our life force moving through us in every moment of existence. Now, we don't have to breathe, really, seriously. We don't have to breathe. Our body does it for us. And I'm going to tell you, if you're just walking around and you stop breathing, you're going to know it. We all know it. And people might say, well, what about people that have to use those, what are they called? CPAP machines, right? Force air into their body because they stop breathing. There's a reason for that. Now, the same is with our spiritual essence. It is living and creating through our physical body, unfolding its essential karmic programming within this great cosmic playground. See, this is how, when I talk about you're the collective, we all are. We are the pure consciousness, the collective consciousness. All of us, everywhere. And all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. Right? Not just us on this planet, in this planet, all over, everywhere. So we're a collective consciousness. Some of us aren't conscious. Some of us are conscious and don't know we're conscious. And then there's others that are coming into consciousness. They're conscious, and they're starting to recognize that they're conscious. Okay. So one might ask, well, what's the difference? When you're a conscious being and you're aware that you're conscious, you don't need to be told what to do. Right? You don't need to have someone else take responsibility for your life. You pretty much have that down. You take responsibility for your life. You direct yourself, guide yourself. And that's pretty much it. Those who are not there need others to tell them what to do. It doesn't matter how old they are either. They need to tell them what to do, how to do it, where to do it, when to do it, throughout their lives. They are not capable in the state that they're in to be responsible for their own lives. They're just not. Okay? Now, how do we know all that? How does that play in? Give examples. Well, why do you think we have things like, in this very now moment in the civilization, insurance, medical coverages, and all stuff like that? Now, if we were in charge of our own lives and took responsibility for our own lives, we wouldn't need any of that stuff. You say? We wouldn't. But it's been played so long and programmed so long is that people atrophy. And they atrophy with their own abilities. So then they fall into the void of the ego mind. And the ego mind guides them, and they get nervous and worried about this and worried about that. And it is all about, being harmed or something bad being done to oneself. Because the majority of the population of this planet is not at the state of awareness to be responsible for their own lives. Hence, this is why we have so much governing going on. What is governing? Governing is a establishment of authority over you. That's what government is. The establishment of authority over you. And these are people you don't know. These are beings you don't know that tell you what to do and how to do it. Now, it doesn't mean that you get a letter or a big billboard telling you this and that. It's subliminal and it's habitual, and we just, like sheep, we follow it. We don't really question it. It's just, people say, well, it's part of life. And it really isn't. You can see where we're moving to as a species, as a civilization. We're moving out of governing. We're moving into self-governing. Okay? What exactly does that mean? It means that you will eventually experience the civilization, for the most part, be self-governing. This is an aware people, not an unaware people. Most of us right now are unaware. And the minority is aware, to a certain extent. So this is great, because we can see this as watchers. Not judges. Watchers means we're in the heart mind, so we're watching all this, and we're learning. We learn from it, and we learn from each other. And we're either students or teachers. That's it. Period. All of us. Doesn't matter what what you do or what you have or anything. It's solely because you're existing. We're all existing. And we're all in these bodies, and we're all experiencing in different ways material physical life. Emotion, feelings, happiness, joy, sadness, laughter, crying. All of these things, we experience them in this body. We don't do that when we're out of the body. None of that stuff. Some of us will when we leave the body, right? We get with the others that have left the bodies. And we still carry some residual from the material physical life, right? So a group of us will get together and see if we can conjure up something that one of us wants to experience again, right? Because, now this is interesting. You're not going to be able to experience it because you won't know how it tastes because you're not in physical form anymore. But you're not aware of that. So you get this craving. And one instance, I've said this before, where one of us wanted a turkey sandwich. Now, none of us are in the body. Okay? We're our natural state of being in balls of light. So one of us wanted a turkey sandwich. Kind of residual, we kind of have a craving for it. It's not like the physical body craving, but no one could remember what that was. Isn't that wild? We couldn't remember what it was to conjure it up for him. So when we leave the body, the memory is fleeting. It dissolves quite rapidly. We forget what it's like to, in our natural state, of immortal beings, we forget what it's like to laugh, cry, make love, just be joyous for nothing. All of those things. We don't remember until we come back in to the body. And then, of course, we don't have memory of the past, and then we start over again. And you can see how crucial it is for us to be in these physical bodies and to learn while we're in these physical bodies about who and what we are. Huge. And the next time you have a turkey sandwich, really enjoy it. I am not kidding you. Enjoy every single morsel of that turkey sandwich. We don't retain a lot of things. And this is why we only realize that after we've left the body. We don't, when we're in the body, there are so many things that we become accustomed to until we create something that pulls us out of being accustomed to it. Some people have experienced losing everything more than once, like myself. When you do that, it really changes your perspective. It really does. And you don't forget about it. You refer back to it in situations where you think you're losing that perspective. Or it's fading. You want it to be regenerated. You go back to it, that exact moment when those events happened. You see, it's really easy for us to take things for granted in this life. And none of us are exempt from it. We all do it different ways. It's not like we don't pay much attention to it. You remember years ago, maybe some of you remember years ago, you couldn't pick up the phone and order a pizza. You really couldn't. That home delivery stuff wasn't there always. And fast food wasn't always there. What did we do without all that wonderful stuff at our doorstep? Well, we prepared our own meals. We did a lot more socializing with each other and preparing meals, food. Most of us are in the food level of existence, and I know that sounds strange. We're moving into the spiritual and out of the food. See, because food, as I have said before, it contains a certain amount of life energy, and that's why we consume it. And it has to taste good, or we won't eat it. Right? It has to taste good. We won't eat it. That's why it tastes good. And some of us like certain things, taste good, and others don't. It's like you could eat something and say, boy, that's really good. Hey, try this. They try and go, oh, it's too sweet, or oh, it's too sour, oh, it's too hot. Okay? So we all have different flavor profiles about ourselves that we enjoy. So that's why we have taste buds in these bodies, so we can enjoy the flavor and the taste and the experience of the food. But it's all plain vanilla wrapping it's the energy that feeds the body. We need that energy. The body needs that energy. And, it's interesting because energy is all around us. We're energy. But we haven't configured it yet. So we're still fumbling around. We don't realize, a lot of us don't realize that when you eat that food, it has a certain amount of energy that the body needs to function. It says you don't know, you're connected, but you aren't aware that you're connected to the God that you are, the pure consciousness in that body, which could do that all day long. Now, as God's out of this body, as pure consciousness, we don't eat, we don't drink water, we don't do any of that stuff. Only in the physical form do we have those experiences. That's why some of us will get carried away. Some of us will get carried away. Some of us might get carried away, get addicted to food, and become humongously large. Others get carried away with what? Sex. Okay? Because they like it so much that they can't stop. It becomes an addiction. And it's the same with anything. You know, some people, they become totally attached to some things in their life. It's an addiction. And that's why, because we don't experience that outside when we leave this body. None of it. So now you understand why we're so seduced with these bodies. And we are. And it's a phenomenal experience to be in a physical form. I share with myself all the time that, as pure consciousness, I don't feel any of this stuff. So when I'm not in this body, it's a whole different experience. So you enjoy the body, you learn about the body, you become experienced with the body on how to take care of the body. And let's put it this way. If you don't take care of your vehicle, we all know this, if we don't maintain it, take care of it, it's going to break down, it's going to be over. We're not going to have transportation. Sooner or later, may take a while, but you don't change the oil, you don't do this, you don't do that. Sooner or later, it's going to crap out on you. It's the same with these bodies that we're in. If we don't take care of them, they're crapping out on us. And then on top of it, we have so many things that interfere with the well-being of the body. So what we do is that we focus or concentrate on the fact of what? What is it? Learning and communicating with these vessels that we're in. Which does what? Connects you with the God that you are. And eventually it will do that. So one might say, well then how can we create, highly energetic food? Focus on what you want. With 100% confidence, trust, and faith in yourself and the universe. That's it. And how can I do that? You do it in these meditations. During the quiet time of these meditations. You get in a comfortable position. You're not going to be interrupted, okay? So you get in a comfortable position for you. You lean into the body. You relax into your body. And you become as still as a statue, and you focus on your breath rising and falling. That's the heart-mind. When you do that, you're in the heart-mind. You're not in the ego mind. And whatever it is you focus on in that heart-mindedness, you have no doubt, you don't have any lack of faith, a lack of confidence. You're centered and focused, so you put that out there. That's it. One thing that see, a lot of people will try to crowd it and put like 50 things in there. It's ridiculous. You do one thing in detail and let it go. Focus on what you want. So how do we change the planet? Focus on what you want. Now, when you focus on what you want, it's high vibrational frequency. So you're immersing yourself in much higher frequency by focusing on the things you want. Usually, right? They're good, happy stuff for you. They're the things that you really want to experience in this life before you leave that body. These are things that you really would enjoy doing, or things that you enjoy interacting with or having in this life. Those are all positive, uplifting, high vibrational frequencies. So in doing that and focusing on what you want, not what you don't want, you're increasing your vibrational frequency. And you'll find that when you are in that, you're in the heart-mindedness and you're focused on what you want, it's a whole different experience. You're not sitting there going, oh, I hope it happens. Oh, boy, what if it doesn't? You're sitting there saying, hey, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm good with both sides. That's letting go. That's what that means. You're letting go of it. And you can do that easily in these global guided meditations. It's effortless. It's not, pounding your head against a brick wall. You just effortlessly expand into it. Now, ego mind, worried, stressing, fearing, you got all these mind chatters going on. You got all these thoughts running around that aren't yours. I mean, everybody's got to worry to a certain extent. Could be real subtle, could be really impactful, and in between. But that's going on. And the only reason it goes on is because of the ego mind and its grip it has on us. And so we're finding out more and more, moment to moment, that we're the masters. We're not the slaves. We're the masters. And we were, somehow we were tricked into believing we're the slaves, but not knowing we're slaves. And we were also tricked into believing that we were free, not knowing that we are not free. Wild, really wild. So it is it's a discovery on a continual basis. We discover. And this is all about ourselves. You discover every day things about yourself if you pay attention to it. We're not critiquing, analyzing, judging ourselves, coming hard down on ourselves. We're experiencing and discovering different aspects of ourselves. Well, you might be in a situation and say, wow, I never thought I would respond that way, but I did. Why did I respond that way? This is what those of us who are intent and committed to discovering the God within us. This is what we do. We ask ourselves, why did I respond that way? Not guilt. Okay, there's no guilt there. Any of that stuff. You're curious. You're interested in knowing why you responded a certain way. And it's very intriguing because then we learn more about ourselves. Kind of like you're navigating, right? So you get to the point where you move yourself into certain actions or activities in life, and you're much more capable and able to guide yourself without fear, without stress or anxiety. You've had that, and that's helped you to get to a certain level of comprehension where you go, now I'm beginning to understand, to comprehend the fact that I know where I'm going within me is to discover that I am the God, that I am the pure consciousness, that I am the kingdom of God, that I am the heaven. And you can say that because you are. It's not made up. All of us, effortlessly and easily to ourselves, I am the God. I am the pure consciousness. I am an omnipotently powerful supreme being that never dies. It's right now experiencing this body. That's a fact, Jack. But see, we get tied up in many different things. None of us are exempt from that. We get tied up with this and tied up with that and involved in this, involved in that, and then we get tied up in our own thoughts and confused and all the other stuff. So you could say that we don't know it, but these lives that we're in are really busy without even knowing they're busy. This is why we emphasize in these meditations is to relax into the body and to get in a comfortable position uninterrupted, and then to focus on the breath rising and falling and be as still as a statue. We're learning about ourselves is what this is all about. That's what this journey is. You learn enough about yourself, you accept who and what you are, you embrace the God within you, and you understand that you're the master, and it's through the heart-mindedness, not the ego-mindedness. And your whole viewpoint perspective completely shifts. You then begin to understand that you can, okay, so you're focused on something from the heart-mind that you want, whatever it may be. You're focused on it, but you're not attached to it. You don't have any expectations with it. You're excited about it because you know it will manifest. Bing, that's it. Then you move on. Then there might be something else that you want. Do the same thing. That's how we collectively shift this planet and move into higher vibrational frequencies and to new Earth. Nothing else does that. We do it. Where do you think the photon energy light field that this solar system is running through for the next few thousand years, where did that come from? Does anybody know? Some know. It came from us, the collective consciousness. And all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. What do you think or believe that's running that is running the new financial system? Well, when it's not a being, it's not an off-worlder, it's not any beings on this planet. Who's running it? What's running it? Collective consciousness. That's why it can't be breached or anything. That's huge. That's why it's global. That's why other planetary systems use a very similar system. It's not necessarily always wrapped around money. So, we're experiencing these things because we have focused on what we want. And no matter how hard the ego mind wants you to not believe that, it is so. It is true. And you can feel that truth in your heart mind. Not your head, but your heart mind. And the more that you know this, deep within you, more that you embrace this through the heart mind, the more you're going to manifest. The less, right? The opposite of that is that the less you will manifest. But it's interesting because those that do not focus on what I've just shared are focused through the ego mind and total control. The ego mind is in total control of them. And so they're focused on what they don't want. That's the difference. They focus on what they don't want. We focus on what we want. Now, as they begin to see more and more that by focusing on what you want is what you will manifest into your life, they will begin emulating or copying that with themselves. They'll want to know. It's a no-brainer. They will want to know. How are you doing this? And any of you can really, those of you that have come to these Global Guided Meditation calls for the last several years know that, what would you say to someone that would ask you, how do you do all this? How are you able to have all this? And you say, I simply focus on what I want through my heart mind, not my head, not my ego mind. Now, of course, a lot will say, oh, yeah, okay, I'm not going there. But others will start to say, wow, that's wild. So so in the ego mind, you're focused on what you don't want. In the heart mind, you're focused on what you want. That's the difference. And sure, you can focus on what you want in the ego mind, but it doesn't last because eventually it deteriorates into worry, stress, and fear about it happening. What are the prime examples? The prime example is look at everything, watch everything. It's It isn't difficult to understand this. What is it? Well, figure this out. This is what you have. People are afraid of living. They're afraid of dying. They're afraid of wealth. They're afraid of poverty. They're afraid of love. They're afraid of happiness. They're afraid of unhappiness. They're afraid. You see what I mean? Heart-mindedness. Embracing every moment, moment to moment. All of it. Always. That's the difference. Now, in heart-mindedness, what is it? You don't fear. You're not worried. You're not stressing. Because your confidence is 100%, 100%, 100%. Faith, 100% confidence and trust in yourself and this universe. So you don't have all that. You did. You know what it is. And it was a good thing because it taught you quite a bit. And it actually helped you greatly to move yourself into heart-mindedness. So it's not negative. The reason it's there for a purpose. Once you realize that you, and only you, are the master creator. Right? So whatever you're living right now, whatever you're experiencing, it is the power of the God within you that has manifested that through the body. And because of the emotionality and everything of these bodies, it's not difficult to understand. Now you may, the ego mind might say, oh no, don't believe that stuff. You're good right here with me. Well, then why is it, if that's the case, that when you focus on what you don't want, you get? You can start off on the right foot and say, hey, I'm good with this. I'm manifesting this. This is what I want. So this is what will manifest for me. Well, ego mind starts working on that, and then you start going, well, what if it doesn't? What if it doesn't? Or what if it actually does? What will I do then? You see how that works? Kind of sneaks in. And then it doesn't happen. Well, what caused that? You did. Everything that your life is, everything that you're experiencing in this very moment, you are the implementer. You're the manifester. And one might say, well, why would I manifest something as ridiculously unappealing as this in my life right now? Well, it's because you need to learn something. That's why. That's why you then become aware enough where you say, what am I learning from this? So I manifested it in my life, so I'm experiencing it now. So what am I learning about this? Everything works in perfect harmony. Remember that. This universe never makes a mistake. It always has your back, always will. You always have your back. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still as a statue, focused on your breath rising and falling. There's an invitation for you today. It is to sit with whatever is troubling you in your life. Whatever your problem is, whatever you feel worried about, just sit with it and within it until you've found real peace. Do not move a muscle until you are truly okay with yourself on the deepest levels and no longer disturbed by this life challenge. Unhappiness perpetuates when we don't meet our challenges face to face. When we don't think we are bigger than the issue, we avoid it. The truth is, what can be bigger than the soul that you are? Whenever something difficult that arises and you make the time to sit and embrace it, you're not trying to change it, but merely understanding what its enlightening purpose is for you. Approach everything in you with a sweet childlike curiosity. When you meet any negative energy, ask it immediately, who are you and what are you here to teach me? What could you possibly need to learn at this stage of your life? It most likely has something to do with what you are here to receive. Asking the difficult parts inside you some questions will take you deeper inside yourself, where you will find all the solutions to whatever you're facing. It's best to relax and trust this process. The more you can relax, the easier it becomes to continue embracing these difficult parts and help you grow, enlighten, and mature. You will always find your most empowered self residing next door to where your deepest core issue lives inside you. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, following morning. We'll return here Friday, August 2, 2024, little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. And continuation in our reverse aging health call around 9:15 or so p.m. Eastern. We will have a special guest, Jim Barnett, back, covering in more depth about the iRevive cream. If you haven't seen the pictures on the website, go look at them. They're under iRevive tab at the top. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on within you or outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.